Beginning. The girl with the star-deep eyes. The first time I saw her, I thought she was human. Not the most accurate assumption, considering I was standing in a bustling alien marketplace lit with swirling holographic banners and dominated by species who ranged from crystalline insectoids to floating cephalopods. But she looked human enough. 2 arms, 2 legs, roughly my height, and a face sculpted with sharp angles and warm brown skin. Her eyes were a deep violet, glowing faintly under the neon lights of the Kestrel Outpost's night market. Her hair shimmered metallic silver, cascading like liquid under the artificial wind. She was arguing with a vendor who seemed determined to shortchange her. The alien was some kind of mossy reptilian creature, wearing an oversized poncho. He screeched through his translator. 4,000 creds. Non-negotiable. The girl scoffed, hands on her hips. You quoted me 2,000 yesterday. Supply chain issues, the reptilian hissed. Inflation. Cosmic tides. Lots of reasons. Lots of excuses, she shot back. Her voice was warm, musical, but carried an edge as sharp as tempered steel. I watched the argument unfold from a food stall where I nursed a steaming cup of something the locals called Blorg tea. It tasted like mint mixed with battery acid, but it kept me awake during long salvage shifts. And tonight was supposed to be simple: finish my tea, return to my ship, maybe sleep for once. But something about this girl, her confidence, her alien beauty, the strange shimmering tattoos along her collarbones, snared my curiosity. She switched tactics, leaning forward and whispering to the vendor in a low, melodic phrase. I froze. Because the phrase, despite sounding like flowing water and humming wind, contained syntax that prickled something in my brain. Something linguistic. Something familiar. The vendor recoiled as if burned. Where did you learn that? The girl shrugged casually. Around. The vendor didn't argue further. He gave her the item, a small crystalline module, and waved her away with trembling hands. She left with a smirk. I should have walked away. Instead, I followed her. Not in a creepy way. Simply out of curiosity. Salvage engineers like me didn't see many humanoids that resembled Earthborn people, much less ones who spoke a mysterious language that could intimidate a Fescan trader with a single sentence. She noticed me after about 20 meters. Her violet eyes narrowed. You're following me. Not following, I said quickly. Just walking in the same direction. That's literally the definition. Fair point. She sized me up, disheveled flight jacket, grease-stained gloves hooked to my belt, a data pad poking from my pocket.
Human, she said.
You say that like it's a crime. Depends on the human, she replied. Fair point again.
She sighed.
What do you want? I hesitated, then blurted. What language was that? Her posture changed immediately. Rigid. Alert. I don't know what you mean. Back at the vendor, I said. You spoke something. Fluid tones. Rhythmic harmonic cadence. Almost like while singing. She blinked, visibly thrown off. You recognized it. Not exactly, I admitted. But I study languages. Patterns. Structures. It felt familiar somehow. She stared at me for a long moment, then burst out laughing. You? A human? Recognizing that language? Please. I'm serious. Her laughter faded as she noticed I wasn't joking. Huh, she murmured. That's unexpected. What's it called? I asked. Her expression shuddered. It's not for humans. Then why did you speak it? She stepped closer, lowering her voice. Because it gets results. And because nobody's supposed to understand it. I didn't understand it, I said. I just recognized something about it. That's when her eyes widened, something like fear flickering inside them. You know fear when you've worked salvage in forgotten sectors. The kind where you stumble into old war wreckage and realize you're not alone. But this fear was targeted at me. You shouldn't be able to recognize anything about it, she whispered. Not unless. Unless what? She backed up a step. Unless you're involved. Involved in what? She didn't answer. Instead, she turned and walked away, deeper into the neon market.
I didn't follow her this time.
Because suddenly, I wasn't sure if I wanted to know. Middle. The language of the forgotten. Over the next week, I tried to put the encounter out of my mind. But that language haunted me. Every time I tried to sleep, the tones echoed in my head. The rhythmic hum. The subtle harmonics. It was like a song partially remembered from childhood, or a whisper spoken by a long-lost memory. On day 3, I caved. I returned to the market at the same time, hoping to run into her again. I told myself it was for answers, but deep down I knew it was deeper than that. And I found her, standing at the same vendor stall, arguing again. Except this time, the argument ended with the vendor shoving a sealed packet at her and practically running away.
She saw me approach and sighed.
You again. Me again, I confirmed. You're persistent. You're mysterious. She cracked a smile. Not intentionally. Then be intentionally less mysterious.
No.
We stood there for a moment, staring at each other, until she finally gestured toward a quiet corner behind a cluster of market stalls.
Fine, she said.
You want answers? Come with me. I followed her into a narrow corridor lit with flickering blue lights. Voices faded behind us, replaced by the distant hum of starship engines and ventilation fans. She leaned against a wall. What do you want to know? Everything, I said. She let out a soft, reluctant breath.
All right.
But start small. The language, I said. What is it? Her voice softened. It's called Lumiteth. Never heard of it.
You wouldn't have, she said.
Humans aren't supposed to know it exists. Why not? Because it belongs to a lost people. I frowned. Lost as in extinct. She held up her hand, rocking it side to side. Extinctish. Language doesn't survive extinction. Unless someone safeguards it, she said quietly. You. She nodded.
Why? I asked.
Because I'm Lumitari. The word rolled off her tongue like liquid silver. Your species? I guessed. My heritage, she corrected. Or what's left of it. She tapped her temple. We pass our ancestral languages through genetic memory threads. Songs etched into our neural code. Dreams. Whispers. Echoes of who we were. I stared. That's incredible. It's complicated. Painful. Her voice faltered. And dangerous. Because it's extinctish. Because, she whispered, someone made it extinct. Silence settled between us like falling dust. What do you mean? She exhaled shakily. The Lumitari didn't just fade. We were erased. My breath caught. Genocide. She nodded, eyes falling. By the same empire that now controls this outpost. The Veil Consortium. I'd heard the name. Everyone had. They were one of the dominant political powers in this sector. Wealthy. Ruthless. Efficient. They outlawed our language, she continued. Destroyed our archives. Purged our history. Executed anyone who spoke the old tongue. Why? I asked, horrified. She looked up, eyes hardening. Because our language holds power. What kind of power? The kind that frightens empires. A shiver crawled up my spine. And you're the last one who knows it? The last one who dares speak it, she said. Others survive in hiding. But they won't use the language. They're too afraid. But you use it openly. Because I'm tired of hiding. For a moment, Neither of us spoke. Then she stepped closer, staring directly into my eyes. But you, she said softly, a human. You recognized a fragment of it. That shouldn't be possible. I swallowed. Maybe my brain is just weird. It is weird, she said, but that's not why. She reached out and tapped my forehead lightly. Inside your mind, she said, is something old, something buried, something connected to my people. I blinked. Are you saying humans? No, she whispered. Not humans as a whole.
You.
Specifically you. My heart pounded. What are you talking about? She hesitated, then asked, Human, what's your name? Elias, I said. Elias Carter. Her expression shifted. Fear, surprise, disbelief all flashing at once. What? I asked. That name, she whispered. Carter. What about it? It's the name of the human family, no, the bloodline, that once helped my people. Long ago. Before the war. Before the purges. A chill washed through me. You're saying my ancestors? Were allies to the Lumitari, she finished. They helped us preserve fragments of our history, hide our refugees, encode our last songs. But Earth doesn't know anything about this. Most of the galaxy doesn't either, she said, because the Veil Consortium erased every trace. My head spun. You're telling me I have what? Genetic memory?
No, she said.
Not like we do. But your family hid something. Knowledge. Secrets. A message that survived the purges. Her eyes glowed faintly. And you've inherited the echo of that knowledge. Enough to recognize the cadence of my language. I swallowed hard. So, what does that mean for me? It means, she said softly, you and I are about to get in a lot of trouble. Why? Because the Veil has been hunting the Lumitari for centuries. And now they've found you. I barely had time to react before a shadow fell across the corridor. A tall, armored figure stepped forward, visor glowing crimson. Target confirmed. The trooper growled. By order of the Veil Consortium, you two are under arrest. The girl grabbed my wrist. Run. And we did. The flight and the secret of the language. We sprinted through the crowded market, dodging vendors, leaping over crates, knocking over displays of glowing fruit. The Veil troopers stormed after us, shouting commands and firing stun blasts that sizzled past our ears. The girl pulled me down a narrow alley. Do you have a ship? She gasped. Yes, I panted. Dock C-17. Good. We're leaving. Leaving. I yelped. Where? Anywhere but here. We reached the docking bay just as two more troopers blocked our path. She shoved me behind her and whispered a phrase in Lumithaith. The air vibrated. A harmonic ripple, like a chord from some ancient cosmic instrument, rolled through the corridor. The troopers staggered, clutching their helmets as their suits flickered. What did you? Keep running, she shouted. We reached my salvage ship, a battered but functional hauler named the Wayfarer, and stumbled inside. I sealed the hatch and punched the ignition. Hang on. The ship roared to life, engines blazing. Alarms blared as Veil fighters scrambled. We blasted out of the hangar, dodging laser fire and weaving through the chaotic traffic lanes. When we finally broke free into open space, I let out a shaky breath. We made it, I said. No, she whispered. We didn't. I turned. Her expression was grim. They will chase us now. They won't stop. Why are they so afraid of your language? I asked. She closed her eyes. Because it can move things. I stared. Move things? Like telekinesis.
No.
Think bigger. How big? She looked out the viewport at the swirling cosmic horizon, big enough to move stars. Silence slammed into the cabin. That's impossible. Not impossible, she said quietly. Just forbidden. My mind reeled. Your ancestors could manipulate matter, energy, reality. Our language, she said, is based on harmonic resonance with the universe's quantum lattice. When spoken properly, the tones can alter physical states. Like singing rewritten physics. Yes. That explained the vendor's fear, the trooper's pain, the empire's genocide. But another question burned. And what does that have to do with me? She stepped closer, voice trembling. Because the last time a human spoke Lumithaith, she swallowed. An entire star system collapsed. I felt the blood drain from my face. What? It wasn't your fault. It was centuries ago. And it wasn't your direct ancestor. It was someone in your line, someone the Lumitari trusted. Someone who tried to speak the language without training. And they caused a quantum cascade, she said. The system folded into a singularity. Millions died. My chest tightened. Your family swore never to speak it again. And the Veil used the event to justify erasing my people. I stepped back, horrified. So now they think I'm dangerous. Not dangerous, she said softly. Catastrophic. The ship went silent. Finally, I whispered, Can I speak it? Actually speak it. You already can, she said. In your dreams. In subconscious fragments. But out loud. If you did, she hesitated, the results would be unpredictable. You could heal worlds. Or destroy them. Wonderful, I muttered. So, I'm a walking bomb. No, she said firmly. You're a descendant of our greatest allies. Her eyes softened. And maybe our last hope. I blinked. Hope for what? She drew a small crystalline object from her pocket, the same thing she bought from the vendor. This, she whispered, is a Lumitari memory shard. One of the last. It contains the full lexicon of the language. And you bought it right before the Veil attacked. They attacked because I bought it. I stared. So, what does the shard need? She pressed it into my palm. You.
Me.
Of course. Because fate loved screwing with salvage engineers. Ending. The word that rewrote fate. We fled for 3 days. Through nebulous storms. Across derelict star lanes. Into the shadow of forgotten planets. The Veil never stopped chasing us. Their fleet grew each time. More cruisers. More drones. More hunters. The girl, her name I finally learned was SheLaughedWhenISpoke, taught me basic Lumithaith tones along the way. Not words.
Just sounds.
Safe ones. Harmless ones. Even so, the ship reacted to them. Lights flickered. Consoles vibrated. The world seemed to listen. It wants to resonate, SheLaughedWhen said. But you can't let it. Not yet. But if they catch us, they won't, she promised. She was wrong. On the 4th day, 3 Veil warships cornered us near the Corinthos Rift, a swirling vortex of plasma storms and gravitational spikes. A voice crackled over our comm. This is Commander Varric of the Veil. Surrender immediately. Hand over the Lumitari and the human anomaly. SheLaughedWhen squeezed my arm. Don't answer. But I did. This is Elias Carter, I said. We're not going with you. You misunderstand, Varric replied. This is not a negotiation. Hundreds of targeting lasers locked onto us. SheLaughedWhen looked at me, eyes shining with fear. Elias, she whispered, you have one choice. The shard is attuned to you. If you activate it, I might kill us all.
Or save us, she said.
Save my people. Save every survivor in hiding. I looked down at the shard pulsing in my hand. I don't know how. You do, she said softly. The language is in your bones. In your blood. Just speak what you feel. That's awful advice. Then speak what you know. The ship shook violently as the Veil fired warning shots. SheLaughed stepped in front of me, placing her hand over mine and the shard. Her voice was barely a whisper. I trust you. For some reason, those 3 words broke something open inside my mind. Memories that weren't mine flooded through me. Visions of starfields swirling like oceans. A people of light singing to shape constellations. A world of crystalline forests humming with life. The Lumitari homeworld. Extinct. Erased. Because of fear. Fear of a language designed not for war, but for harmony. I breathed in.
And spoke.
One word. Just one. A tone that vibrated through my bones, through the metal of the ship, through the vacuum of space itself. A ripple spread outward, silent, invisible, unstoppable. The Veil warships froze. Their systems shut down. Their engines quieted. Their weapons powered off. We sat in a pocket of total calm inside the raging rift. SheLaughed stared at me in awe. You stabilized the quantum field. What? You neutralized their weapons without harming them, she said breathlessly. You did the impossible. But the other humans centuries ago, they caused a collapse. Because they didn't understand the language, she said. But you, she smiled. You were born to speak it. The Veil ships drifted helplessly. SheLaughed touched the shard. It merged with the ship's console, projecting a star map. The surviving Lumitari will feel that tone, she whispered. They'll know it's safe. They'll know they're not alone. Tears glistened in her violet eyes. You just brought my people back into the light. I swallowed hard. So, what now? We rebuild, she said. Together. And the Veil? They won't try again, she said. Not after what they just saw. But what did they see? I asked. SheLaughed took my hand. They saw a human speak a word that can save worlds. We drifted in the rift, watching as the Veil ship slowly powered down, defeated without violence. SheLaughed rested her head against my shoulder. I laughed, she murmured, when you spoke my language the first time. I remember. I thought it was impossible, that you were just guessing. But now I know, she smiled softly. You were remembering. I looked at the swirling stars beyond the viewport. Remembering a promise my ancestors made. A promise I had just fulfilled. SheLaughed squeezed my hand. Elias Carter, she whispered. You're the first human in history to speak Lumitaith correctly. And you're the first Lumitari in centuries to laugh about it. We both smiled. Outside, the rift rippled gently, as if echoing the words still resonating through space. A word that would change everything. A word that brought hope. A word that began a new era for humans. For the Lumitari. For the galaxy. And it all started because she laughed, before she realized what it meant.